and welcome to Bookcraft. My name is Colleen. I am the host of our podcast, and welcome to season 2. Now, I do need to apologize. I have been a little bit of MIA the last month and a little bit. And that's because, if you don't know, I am a serial entrepreneur. So I have my book business, so my author business, and all the things that go along with my author business. I have this podcast. I also have my chocolate business because I am a master chocolatier. And I have a few other things, one of which is teaching, and I'm going away for another teaching gig. But the reason I haven't recorded a podcast in the last little bit was I was away teaching for just over 2 months, and where I stay for teaching is this great place, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, and the internet is not great. So I attempted to do an episode when I was out there, and I think it was like 4 hours to upload the episode, and I thought, "You know what? I have better things to do with my time than sit here for 4 hours." So, if you're like, "Where the heck did you go?" That's one reason, but also with the chocolate business, I had a really busy Easter this year, which was great because every year is different. I feel like I'm often in the Wild West, and I have no idea if it's gonna be busy, not busy. It's really crazy. This year, luckily, we were very busy for Easter, which then, of course, led to very long days, so working 16 hours a day to get all of the chocolate done for Easter, get it delivered, get it picked up, all that, yada, yada. You're like, "I'm here for the book talk, Colleen." Anyways, the chocolate part is a big part of, my life, so I wanted to tell you about that. What I want to talk to you about today, though, is something that I didn't get to tell you about because again, I was away, but I just got back from my writing retreat not even 2 weeks ago. I went away. It was myself and one of my author friends. She was on an episode in season 1. Her name is Amanda, and she writes incredible books that take mythology and history and just all these like really cool elements where she builds her stories. She's working on a new book series, and so at the writing retreat, she was working on that, and I had goosebumps when she was telling me what she was working on, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, write the book right now." But I wanted to talk about the writing retreat because it was incredibly productive. So if you have never been on any kind of a retreat before, so be it a writing retreat, a reading retreat, a work retreat, um, it is, what do I want to say? It's like a flip in your brain. When you're on a retreat, you aren't thinking about, I got to do the laundry. I better go wash the dishes. Oh, I should vacuum the floor. Oh, maybe I needed to go and work on the yard. No, you're thinking of none of those things. You are only thinking about what you're there for and what the task is. And I have been on, throughout my career in different places that I've worked, I've been on work retreats. I've started hosting reading retreats, so we've got another reading retreat coming up. I'll talk about that in a minute. But this was my first writing retreat. And Amanda and I went out. We left the city that I live in, which is Edmonton. She actually came all the way from Banff, was like 5 hours away from where I am. And we ended up at this great Airbnb that was about like almost an hour outside of Edmonton. So when you go west, we were right on a lake. It was snowing. Okay, so I'm recording this on May 3rd. Yes, it was snowing. It was actually just snowing not that long ago. We had snow, wild snow, like a lot of snow, not just a little bit of snow. So it created this really nice, cozy environment to work. And if you don't know this about me, you're going to learn this. I do not like getting up early in the morning. In fact, I despise getting up early in the morning. I have to get up very early in the morning tomorrow because I'm teaching out of town and it's a long ways away from where I live. So I have to get up very early to get there. So tomorrow morning I will be very grumpy. But at the writing retreat, I was so invigorated and I was getting so much work done. I was staying up till like midnight, 12:30. The one night I was up till 1 in the morning, and then I was up again at 7. And I was just like, boop, awake and clackety clack. I was on my computer doing the tippy tappies. But it was because I was only had to focus on working on my book. That's all I had to focus on. So, what did I do at the writing retreat? Well, let's frame the writing retreat. I booked extra time for us. So, like I said, it was just the two of us that went, which was kind of funny because I always hear from authors and, people that are like, "Oh, I wish I had time to write and I wish I had time to just, dedicate to writing." And I'm like, "Hi, Colleen, I'm hosting a writing retreat. You should come." But people do what people do. People ask for things and then they don't book the things. That's another podcast. That's that'll be a ranty podcast. I do like to rant every once in a while. But what I ended up doing was I had an event on Saturday. It was a book fair event and it was so good. It was Tales and Trinkets Market. Catherine Swift, who also was a guest on the podcast in season 1, she organizes events. And for this event, and she has done this at other events, I think, but this is the first event that I was at that she did this. She had a VIP hour, which was incredible. There was, I would say 20 to 25 people that came for that first hour that had all pre-booked. They all got a little gift bag. And so we had like a dedicated time where the first people that were there, they were there to shop. Like it wasn't oh, what's this that's happening today? I'll just float in and float out. No, they were bookish people there to shop. It was fantastic. So I did that event on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I got the rest of the food that Amanda and I would need. And we actually did the retreat Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we came back on Wednesday. So we had a lot of time there. The Airbnb host that we booked with was wonderful. She was super responsive. And it just so happened like her place is usually booked all the time. And we were booking kind of a weird time because we were like weekday, whereas most people book weekends. I think possibly too that it was snowing was a reason that she actually didn't have anybody staying at her Airbnb that weekend. So we actually got to check in early, which was really nice. So we started the retreat off a little bit early. I had got all the food organized. I had everything ready so that we just had to eat. We didn't have to make anything. There was no, prepping anything. All the food was ready to go. All the coffee, all the tea, whatever you wanted, and the snacks. Oh my God, I actually had too many snacks. I did this on my reading retreat that I hosted last year. I had too many snacks. I didn't think there was such a thing as too many snacks, but apparently there is. So, but what happened at the writing retreat, because we had Sunday, we ended up getting there, I want to say we got there at like 12:30-ish. Yeah, like she let us check in early, which was, like I said, it was amazing because their check-in time is usually 4 o'clock. But Amanda's bus came in at 11. And yeah, so by the time we went and did a couple things and got out there, it was about 12:30. And Amanda and I just kind of chit-chatted for a bit, and then we got to work. I did 3 things at the writing retreat. So the first thing that I did was I worked a little bit on my Irish mythology folklore series that's coming. So I had bought some books a little while ago, and one was a set of books that were different myth and mythology, folklore, stuff like that, from Ireland. Another book was just about Ireland in general, so it was kind of like maps, city tours, historical sites, just kind of like general information about Ireland. And the third book was fairy tales, so all different fairy tales. And then I also grabbed from my mom just one of those I think it's Rick Steves, and it was like a Tour Ireland book because it had like the big fold out map. So I spent some time working on that. I took my notebook, wrote some notes, started doing stuff on the computer, looking things up. and just gathering background information, really. So I've started this other series. I have the framework for the other series, but I was actually working on um, what I think I want the series to be. So this is like rudimentary. This is like we're just building it now, but it was pretty fun to start working on that. I then worked a little bit on some of my, I would say, like current book website marketing stuff. So I had built a Pinterest page. So I was posting some stuff on Pinterest to try and gain some traction, trying to basically move people towards my website. And it's going to take forever, but I was working on that, creating some templates, just updating little bits and bobs on the website. So putting lots of like background code in. And one of the other things that I'm working on is I'm taking all of my newsletters that I send out to my email subscribers. Hello, would you like to subscribe to my email? It's delightful. I'll put a link somewhere. But I'm building my email list. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking my old newsletters and I'm creating them as like sort of like blog posts on my website and then linking them to the full newsletter. So it's kind of a, if you missed a past newsletter or if you're just new to the newsletter, you can go and read past issues. And a lot of that is for discoverability, for surfacing across all the platforms. So whether you want to do it or not, if the robots can't find you, you don't sell books. So I'm just trying to put as many things on my website where somebody will maybe type something in and maybe one of my blog posts will come up. Maybe one of my newsletter archive posts will come up. Like I'm just trying to do as many things on my actual website because I own my website. So I worked on that. That was the second thing I worked on. And the third thing I worked on, which was really amazing, was book 2 in the Lagoon Chronicles series. And I worked on edits. So the book was fully written. I finished. Oh my goodness. When did I finish? I finished in February, I think. So it ended up just over 103,000 words. I want it to be around 90. So that's not really very many words to cut. But as I was editing, so before the reading retreat started, I had chapters 1 to 16 fully edited, as in there's nothing else that should need to happen to those chapters. Grammar, punctuation, plot lines, characters, arcs, all of that for those first 16 chapters, good. Chapters 17 through 57. So there was 75 chapters in the book. Talk about that in a second. Those chapters I did the big, I want to call it, for me it's like the big plot elements. So this wasn't editing, this wasn't doing grammar, punctuation, any of those things. This was just, where the heck are the characters? What are they doing? And why is Declan in an airplane and on the island at the same time? So this was the big. So I got up to chapter 57 for that. So with doing that though, so I originally had 75 chapters and I realized that there was 8-ish chapters that I didn't need them to be their own chapter. They actually made more sense as a combined chapter. And then there was 2 chapters that I completely took out, and they are going to be bonus stories for newsletter subscribers and for reader magnets and all that kind of stuff. So they are ones that don't impact what happens in book 2. They are basically they're a bonus. They're no spoilers or anything like that. They're 2 fun things that I was like, oh, that'd be really cool. And then I was like, oh, but the way that I had them. So you're a reader, you're reading a book, ding, 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 you're reading the book, you're going through. And then do you ever have this happen where suddenly like the author puts something in and you're like, whiplash? What, why did that just happen? What's going on here? And so as I was reading through the chapters that I pulled out, they're fun. They're They add background to the story. They add a bit of comic relief. But where I had them in the book didn't make sense because we're building, and it pulled you out of the story. You're like, whoa, okay, what's happening now? Now we're doing this? So I pulled them out and realized that they'd be better as like that reader magnet short story type of thing. So they'll still appear, they just won't appear in the book. And I think that's part of like when you're doing these big edits and you finally you see these plot holes or you see these character arcs that kind of drop off and you're like, oh, I can't have that. I am one of those people, like I read a lot. Um, to be a writer, you need to be a reader. And I typically, except for this year, I typically read 150 books a year. I'm not saying that to be braggy. I read a lot because I make it a priority. I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. I don't like I have one murder show that we watch. We watch a murder show because we like the true crime show but it's one show and it comes out one episode a week, and that's like our thing that we watch together for myself and my boyfriend. But I'm not sitting and doing 3 to 4 hours of TV a night. I'm reading. So right now I'm not reading very much just because I'm in edits and I feel like if I start reading something, it's going to take me out of my edits. But I did realize that I could read something completely different than what I'm writing right now. So I'm listening to The Expanse series by James S.A. Corey. James S.A. Corey, thank you. You are giving my brain something to do where I don't have to think about my book. Overall, so I still have more edits to do, but immediately as soon as the writing was treat was done, I went into a flurry of chocolate events. And when I say a flurry, I I left the one chocolate event. I had no idea what it was going to be like. I pulled over on the side of a dirt road and I called my dad and I was like maniacally laughing. I was like, "Okay, um we sold a lot. We need to make more chocolate because we had 2 more events coming and this event kind of cleaned me out, which was amazing. Like, oh my gosh. And they bought so many books. I loved it. They bought so many books. So I finished the writing retreat. I have not been able to do any edits because the second the writing retreat was over, it was event, event, event. I just did an event Friday night. I'm recording this on Sunday, May 3rd. So yeah, I had one day yesterday to relax. I'm recording this podcast today. I leave tomorrow, and I basically have 3 weeks that I'm gone for. So I'm going to try and get some other episodes recorded before I go, so that we can have a robust season 2. Would I recommend a reading retreat, a writing retreat, any kind of retreat? 100%. Yeah. Um, the next writing retreat that I do, I loved going with Amanda. We got along like a house on fire. I figured we would. We both are worker bees. We both had a lot of information to kind of share, which was great. If I was to do another writing retreat in the future, I would 100%, Amanda, I would go again with you. But I might almost do something just by myself in the future. And part of that is because the place that we stayed was great. It was definitely set up for more people than we had, so the cost was a little bit more than I was expecting. And for me, because I feel like I want to take care of people when I'm hosting events. Like you're gonna get a full on great experience. You're gonna get all the food you could want. If it was just me, I would like take pepperoni sticks and potato chips. Like tomato soup, like that would be it. I wouldn't really take much else. And my coffee. I would take my coffee. Oh yeah, I take my coffee. Mm, delicious. But I would just, yeah, I'm not sure. I think I would just do it again. Like if Amanda wanted to do another one, 100%, I would do that. Because it was just easy, 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 easy. But I don't know. I don't know. It's really challenging to kind of put yourself out to do events and kind of try to get people to come, and then, yeah. So 100% will do a writing retreat again because I definitely enjoyed it. Would I join up with somebody else's writing retreat? I don't know. Possibly, but I think because I can host my own events, I'd probably just do it myself. Now, with all of that said, one of the things that I realized as I was doing these edits, and something that I'm going to do going forward, I've talked about this in season 1. I will never write a book like I wrote this book again. This has caused me way too much stress. The edits, in my opinion, with the amount of time I've spent on edits, and it's not like I've spent, I've spent a couple hours on edits. I've probably spent at this point more than 100 hours on edits. Conservatively, I've been editing since February, March, April. Yeah, I've spent a lot of time on edits. And part of that is because I wrote out of order. I didn't write linearly. And that's really caused me to have a lot of scenes in the book where I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, this person is not on the island right now. They're in Ireland, but I've got them on the island, and it's because I wrote out of order. So I won't do that again. That's the first thing. The second thing is I started doing dictation because during the time when I was working on getting the book finished, the last few chapters, I was away teaching. So that's hours and hours of driving a day. So I just basically had my phone and I was just dictating while I was driving. I don't have my phone on me. I just had the thing listening to my yappy yap. The dictation was good, but what I didn't do was immediately finish the dictation and then that evening edit it. I should have did that because so you can do dictation lots and lots of different ways. I'm doing the dictation where I'm actually saying all of the punctuation as well. So I'm, open quote, are you serious? Close quote. Gray couldn't believe she said that, period, new paragraph. I am dictating all of that. So the dictation is great. And then what I do is the dictation goes straight to transcription, and then I send it to a Google Doc. And I was quickly just taking out, because it would, Cece's name is Cici, that's how you spell it. But my voice recorder was just putting it as 2 C's. So I would quickly go through, find all, replace this, and then I would put it into my manuscript. So I just take it from the Google Doc, put it in my manuscript, and I didn't touch it. That was a mistake. So the next time I am going to use dictation again. And I did like using the dictation, especially because I still have this eye thing. It's driving me nuts. But for next time, I need to do the dictation and then immediately go through and kind of not fine-tooth comb, but zip through it really quickly and pull out all the spelling mistakes first, zip through it again, and pull out anything that just doesn't make any sense. So what was one of the things it would switch Gray to Grace. So it would do that for dictation. And then there was something else that it kept messing up. Oh, I don't even know what it was now, but there was another little phrase or something that I would say, and it didn't ever translate it properly. So, or transcribe it properly, I should say. So that's another thing. And the last one is the first book that I wrote. Again, I wrote start to finish. But for me, and I know some people are like, don't ever do this. Do what you want. It's your book. Write it how you want. But one of the things that I really liked was the first book. I wrote the chapter. So first draft, wrote the chapter. I immediately edited it. And then I did the next one. So sometimes I'd write 3, 4, 5 chapters, and then I would edit all of them right then and there. I didn't do that with this book. And if I would have, I wouldn't be now going through and being like on chapter 60 going, oh my gosh, this character is not on the island anymore. They left the island. So that is something else that I would not do again. So when I start writing book 3, I'm going to be very mindful that the system that I used the first time I wrote was the system I should have stuck with. So all in all, a reading retreat, a writing retreat, wherever it is that you're going for a retreat, highly recommend. I have a reading retreat that I am hosting coming up in less than 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, it's in like 12 days. Let's not talk about that right now because I'm leaving tomorrow to go teaching. It's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to actually use it as another writing retreat. My guests will be reading away. I'm going to work on my book because I would really like to finish it. And I am actually going to do a Kickstarter for book 2. And there's a lot of reasons why, but I will tell you about that in another episode. So I hope that wherever you are enjoying your books and however you enjoy your books, you are having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about writing retreats. I hope that one day, if you are a writer, you get to attend a writing retreat. And I hope if you're a reader, you can go to a reading retreat. Thanks, everyone.